Welcome back to another episode of the Last of Us Talk Show. I'm your host, Mikey, and today we are doing our instant reaction to Season 1, Episode 3, Long Time. This one directed by Peter Orr, and then we are starring Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey, obviously, but some big newcomers in this episode. Murray Bartlett as Frank, Nick Offerman as Bill, and they did beautiful, amazing, wonderful work. Just amazing. So, this is an instant reaction. No spoilers in this. But yes, let's talk about that acting first. Again, this episode is so much about. We know that this series is about love, right? And this episode is about love and the getting that connection, getting building that connection and getting connected, and the portrayal of that by these actors is spot on, amazing, beautiful work. And then on the opposite side of that, we got our Joel and our Ellie. Again, just to see the mirror opposite of that, is they did great work to portray that as well, which is is what this whole show is about, right? I mean, we've been with Joel from the beginning. We've seen how much he can love, how much he can be, how good and a loving person he can be when he has that connection. We saw him lose that connection, and in these first couple of episodes, we've seen that he's been since then, the loss of his daughter, he's been walled off, he's disconnected, and not, he's not really going 100% in on anything and feeling that love and feeling that connection. So we got to see the opposite of that. We got to see what connection is in this world and how you can be connected in this world. So this is something that this episode portrays, which again to me is in great contrast to where Joel is right now. And what we see from Joel is he's, again, walled off and disconnected. So if we get to a point where we get to see Joel make that connection and let love into his heart again, it's going to mean that much more, because we've seen how wonderful love can be in this world. Just Joel's not letting himself have that, right? So they're doing amazing work with the storytelling here. Just showing you different sides of things that, even though it may not come directly from or it might not even be directly about the main characters of the series. It can show us something that we want for our main characters of this series, and hope that it's a place that they can get to ultimately. So yes, the acting in this was beautiful. The set design, that was great as well. Again, feels like a real small town. I myself grew up in a small town, so I look at that and I go, "Yep, that's a small town." That's definitely how it would feel and look if it were abandoned. Uh, you know, uh, we don't get any major like special effects or major sound effects that are needed in this episode. But what we do get fantastic. So overall, this is a great episode. Again, this is a one that is going to it's going to pull on the heartstrings. It's going to make everybody very emotional. I just again I myself I cannot stop thinking about. I'm going to be thinking about this one for a long time, and we're obviously going to talk about it once we get to the full breakdown and spoiler review. But there's just so many things that happen in this episode that are just so beautiful to see in a relationship, and things that uh, we see the characters, the characters that this episode focuses on, and how they grow, and a relationship can grow over years. That's something that I've been married to my wife for almost 12 years now, but I hope that it continues to grow. Obviously, and I hope that we get to a beautiful place, like what is portrayed in this episode. All right, but that's the instant reaction. Leave in the comments if you're watching the YouTube version of the show. Let me know, how did you feel about this episode? Are you like totally emotionally devastated like me, or are you somehow, if you're a robot or you just like have no heart? Did this episode not emotionally affect you? I would doubt that there would be any serious takes that were that, but I guess it could happen. Yeah, just let me know what's your instant reaction. How are you feeling? How did you think the acting was? Um, and just what did you think of it in general? But yeah. So leave those comments. The Last of Us show, talk show, the Last of Us talk show at gmail.com, right in there. Let me know what you're thinking. And make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss an episode. Make sure, if you're listening on podcast, that you hit that follow button or subscribe button, whatever you need to do on the podcast app that you're doing. Make sure you do that. And stay tuned for that spoiler review, because there's so much we got to talk about. That's going to be so much fun to talk about. Until then, endure and survive.